and imagining that we were in some sort of clinch situation. That's where this comes into play. So I've got him, you know, things are outside of my control. If I can get this out and bring it in maybe a few times, make some distance, use this as a contact breaker, because of the handle design I never have to come off of it, and then I can then go to my gun if I need to or whatever else. Good. We could have burned through a lot of ammo. What's going on, guys? You're watching The Hungry Handgunner. I'm Nick, and allergy season has kind of started here in Georgia, so bear with me while my eyes feel like they're going to pop and things like that. So recently, we've done some knife reviews. We've done some knife discussion on the channel. Do I think that they're an effective tool for self-defense? Sure, they can be. They're sharp. We've been using blades for thousands of years to fight with. Do I think they come with some inherent challenges in the 21st century? Yes, absolutely. So I have a couple out here. I have just a manual folder here. This is the CRKT Hammond Cruiser. I have my Microtech Ultratech. Good knives, very different purposes in my opinion, very different price ranges. I think I paid like 20 something bucks for this one. This one was closer to 300. So anytime we talk about knives, I think it's important, the first misconception I want to get out of the way. If you use this in self-defense, this is not considered a less lethal, this is not considered a non-lethal. This and this are on equal footing in terms of the law, in terms of lethal force. So using a knife in a fight, this isn't like pepper spray. This can absolutely land you in hot water for being too much force. So keep that in mind. Depending on your jurisdiction, your laws, and things like that. This is not one of those little dinky keychain, little spike things that's going to give you an edge in a fight. This is definitely going to be looked at like a lethal force based on every case that I have seen where it was brought up as such. So with that, there are some other things to consider. When you use a knife, you're going to get in close. This isn't like the movies where you're hurling it 50 feet at somebody. If you can do that, props to you. But a knife like this, you know, your everyday pocket knife, you're going to be in close. There's the opportunity for it to be taken away from you. There's the opportunity for it to be used against you. So using a knife in self-defense is a very personal thing, right? You are very, very close to the other person. So not too much different than most self-defense shootings, other than the fact that, well, you have to stay close for that knife to be an effective tool. Do I think that it's a good idea to at least get some basic training on using a knife in a combative situation and in using medical skills to repair things like knife wounds? Absolutely. I've harped on medical before. Anytime that there's the likelihood that you could get hurt, i.e. a self-defense situation, knowing how to repair some of that damage is a good idea. So edged weapons, fighting styles, you know, there's everything, just like any other kind of martial art. There's the entertainment value stuff. There's the stuff that looks great, the stuff that's probably awesome to watch and or participate in at tournaments. And then there's the stuff that's actually designed to, well, work. And those don't always overlap. But anyway, the whole knives as defensive weapons is something I've covered before. I will put a link down in the description on that video. Today we're going to be talking about a knife that is, well, it's built for this. It's arguably, it is a purpose-built knife for the purpose of self-defense and fighting. And that is going to be the Shivworks El Nino. So, real quick, guys, I have been punching some stuff with it, as is, you know, kind of Joffrey's spray paint rubbed off on it. These knives are not cheap. I think this one was $110 before shipping and things like that. But they offer some advantages. Now, Shivworks does make a larger push dagger style knife. It has a bigger handle. I went with this one because I wanted it to be concealed carry. I knew I wanted to carry it like this on my belt for me to get to with my offhand, and I didn't want that handle hanging too far down. So one of the neat things that they do compared to other push daggers that you'll see is instead of having a symmetrical handle design here where most likely it would come out between your middle and ring finger, they went with an asymmetrical design. Well, that makes sense. If you guys have done any kind of boxing or martial arts and you know how to throw a punch, you know that you're going to be punching with these two knuckles. So to have this blade protruding between the two knuckles that you're going to be punching with, well, that makes a lot of sense to me. and I really like that, and that's why I held out for this particular model. Craig Douglas is the owner, I believe, of Shivworks, a very well respected trainer in his own right for entangled use of things like this, the clinch pick, and just some real world experience to back it up. So I went with this. I like this so far. Hope I never need it for its intended purpose, but the beautiful thing is I've got it mounted horizontally on my belt. I'll show you guys that in a second, and I wanted it that way for a reason. So we don't always have control over the situations that we find ourselves in when it comes to self-defense. I do not want to be hugging the person that's attacking me. I do not want to be rolling around on the ground with them, things like that. But if that's the situation in which I find myself, I need a means to break contact with that person. I need something that's going to make them say, I don't like this, let me go. And that's why I have this. That's what it's there for me, is to quickly come out with it and come up with it if we're in a clinch or if we're rolling on the ground, get it wherever I can get it and get out of there. This isn't something where we're going to square off in the street and do some Mortal Kombat shit. This is just for me to get away. If I have to go to my firearm or whatever, or re-engage and use it again, that is what it is. But primarily this is designed so that I can break contact and get the hell out of there. So it's just being real. I hope I never need it, but if I do need it, I think it'll work pretty good. So let me show you guys where it's at and some of the advantages of doing what I did with it. Maybe he has figured out that you have a firearm, maybe he's going for it. You can retain here, come out, use this knife to kind of create some space. I don't want to knock him over, I'm not hitting him too hard. And when you do that, step back and do whatever you need to do from there. So it's really a good option because of the handle design. I never have to drop this gun. I can still maintain my hold on the knife. I can still get accurate shots. It works. It's far better than a traditional knife design in that regard. Traditional pocket knives, they're designed to be utilitarian mostly, and for the most part. And once you start getting into things with either a normal grip on the knife, like using my Microtech here, you know, holding it like this, or even going to a reverse grip, things can change, right? This knife can get bound up and jerked out of my hand. Somebody can use the blade as a fulcrum point, push it. This one would be kind of hard with it being double-edged, but there's challenges to using a traditional knife design for fighting. So with that, and then, you know, there's added training that's probably a good idea to take and all that. When you go to this, it allows you to streamline some of your training, right? Because if you can throw a good punch, this will work. This is coming out between the two knuckles you're designed to punch with. So if you have a good skill set down, left or right-handed, I have it set up offhand so that I can still use my firearm with my dominant hand or retain it, whatever. This knife will absolutely work because if you can throw a good punch, I'm just throwing some simple jabs and it works. So there's some advantages to this design. I do want to apologize. I feel like I've been showing you guys my crotch a lot lately, things like the reload wrap and all that good stuff. But so right now I have a CZ P01 over here in the appendix position, and then I have the El Nino. So the beauty of it is if I was entangled, my right hand's tied up, whatever, if I can snake my left hand down, come out with it, and come up, I don't have to throw a Superman punch. I don't have to do anything. The blade's very sharp. I can just come up and poke him with it, if you know what I mean. Like, he's not going to like that sensation. Conversely, if for whatever reason my left hand was tied up, so I know somebody's going to ask, why are you kind of committed to that side? I'm not. If my left hand's tied up, I can snake over here, flip it around, and go like that. I can do all sorts of things with it. It's because the blade length is not all that long. The draw stroke to get this thing out is not that bad either. Also, especially coming at it with whatever hand you have it set up for, it's pretty much ready to go. When I come out, I can use it. And that's really all there is to it, guys. It's just, honestly, I think it's probably the best tool for this sort of application. If you've been watching the channel for any length of time, you guys know that I typically don't speak in absolutes. I'm not going to tell you that this is the best or this is the option that you should look at above all options. But if you are interested in a knife for defensive use, a knife that's going to require minimal training or will take some skills you already have and cross over, the El Nino is really hard to beat, or the push dagger in general. This style of knife, specifically from Shivworks, I feel like it is a fantastic thing. It uses a Sandvik steel. I'll put all the specs on it down in the description. The fit and finish is good. G10's blended well on the handle. It's comfortable. It just feels like a well-made knife. And guys, I mean, honestly, if we're talking about tools to defend ourselves with, potentially save our lives, I do want something well built. So there is that. I'm going to throw a link in the description where you can grab these. I don't get anything if you do that. That's fine. These guys don't know I'm making this video. They have no clue who I am. So there is that. And I'll be sure to update you guys as I carry it more, especially as we get into summer and sweat and things like that. I'll keep you updated if anything happens. I did want to show you just what I'm using, because the way I am carrying it is not the way it comes. It comes, if you guys go to the link in the description, you'll see, it comes with a metal clip to be carried vertically. Tried it for a few days. It wasn't bad. I don't like having to come up. I realize that if I am entangled, that coming up is going to be a lot harder than coming out to the side. So ordered some soft loops when I ordered the knife, just in case. They're a good thing to keep around too, as much as I dink around with holsters and things like that. These pull the dot soft loops are great. They are what I use for my concealed carry guns. PO1 notwithstanding that I'm carrying right now, in the holster that I'm carrying it in. I just wanted to play with something different today. But so there you go, and you can configure that. They had 4 holes in the sheath with grommets. The hardware can go in there. You can kind of do whatever you want with it. So it actually sits on my belt like that. And these, no issues with these pull the dot loops coming off. It's actually fairly easy to get off when at the end of the day, and getting it on, it feels secure. I've rubbed up against things. Sheath has good retention. Haven't had the knife come out at all. So hope that answers that for you guys. Again, link in the description. I really can't say enough good things about this so far, even though all I've done is punch Joffrey. I thought about getting Justin out here to like demo some stuff for me, but I realized that, well, I only ordered the one that pokes things and cuts things. I didn't order the trainer, and well, Justin's my friend, and I'd like to keep it that way. But anyways, so no live volunteers for me to poke at today. But guys, let me know if you have one of these, or you have experience that you want to tell us about with knives for defensive weapons. Please feel free to drop them in the comments. They are a tool. They are an option. I don't necessarily think that they're the best option, or that you should 100% count on them as your go-to means of self-defense, but I think that they provide a layer, especially in a role like this would provide as a space maker or contact breaker. I think they're pretty viable. So stay safe, keep shooting, and I'll see you next time.